Look, I'm about to show you something that sounds absolutely ridiculous until you see the results with your own eyes. I took 7 perennial plants that were supposed to be blooming beauties, watched them sit there doing basically nothing for an entire season, then sprayed them with water that I made smell like a campfire. 3 weeks later, they exploded into bloom like I'd never seen before, and I'm not talking about a few extra flowers here and there. I'm talking about triple, sometimes quadruple the number of blooms compared to the control plants I left untreated. Now, before you click away thinking I've lost my mind, let me explain what's actually happening here, because this isn't garden voodoo. This is legitimate plant science that most home gardeners have never heard of, and it's going to completely change how you think about certain perennials in your garden. So here's the thing. We all know that some ecosystems depend on fire, right? Prairies need periodic burns, certain forests have fire cycles, and we've all heard about those pine cones that only release seeds after intense heat. But what most people don't realize is that there are gorgeous flowering perennials sitting in garden centers right now, plants that you might already have in your yard, that carry this ancient genetic programming that's literally waiting for smoke signals to wake up and perform the way they're supposed to. These plants evolved in fire-prone regions, and over millions of years, they developed this incredible survival mechanism. They can sense specific chemical compounds that are only released when plant material burns. When they detect these compounds, it triggers germination in seeds, or, and this is the part that blew my mind, it can trigger dramatically increased flowering in established plants. The plant essentially interprets the smoke signal as meaning that competition has been cleared away, nutrients are available in the ash, and now is the perfect time to put all their energy into reproduction. The key compound here is called californicum. Researchers studying Mediterranean ecosystems and Australian bushlands identified this group of chemicals that exist in smoke, and when they applied them to certain plant species, they got germination rates that jumped from like 5% to over 90%. Commercial smoke water products started appearing for use in restoration projects and specialized nurseries, but hardly anyone thought to tell home gardeners that some of their struggling perennials might just need a whiff of wildfire to reach their full potential. So let me tell you about the 7 perennials I tested, because chances are at least 2 or 3 of these are either in your garden right now or on your wish list, and you have no idea they're secretly fire-adapted plants. First up, Conifolia, also known as red-hot poker or torch lily. This South African native is supposed to produce these dramatic spikes of tubular flowers in blazing orange, red, and yellow. I had 3 clumps that were giving me maybe 4 or 5 flower spikes each season, which is honestly pretty pathetic for a mature plant. After treating them with smoke water in early spring, these same plants pushed out 15 to 18 spikes each, and they were taller and more vibrant than anything I'd seen from them before. The difference was so dramatic that my neighbor asked if I'd planted new varieties. Second, we've got leucadendron. Now, some varieties of this South African shrub are grown as perennials in warmer zones, and they're prized for their colorful bracts. Mine were growing fine, nice foliage, but the bracts were small and the color was muted. I treated half my plants with smoke water and left half as controls. The treated plants produced bracts that were 30 to 40% larger with intensely saturated colors, while the control plants looked exactly like they had the previous year. Third on the list is Protea. Yes, you can grow certain Protea species as perennials if you're in the right climate zones, and even in marginal zones, some of the smaller varieties will perform as herbaceous perennials that die back and return. I'd been nursing along some Protea nereifolia plants that gave me 1, maybe 2 flowers per plant per season. After smoke water treatment, I got 5 to 7 blooms per plant, and the flower heads were noticeably larger. Fourth, and this one surprised me because I'd been growing it for years without knowing about its fire adaptation, diorama, the wandflower or angel's fishing rod. This gorgeous plant from South Africa produces these arching stems with dangling bell-shaped flowers. I'd always gotten a decent show, but nothing spectacular. Post-smoke treatment, the number of flowering stems increased by about 60%, and I got a second flush of blooms later in the season that had never happened before. Number 5 is Watsonia, another South African bulb that grows as a perennial, producing gladiolus-like spikes of flowers. I had a drift of these that had naturalized, but they were blooming less and less each year, which I'd assumed was overcrowding. I treated them with smoke water without dividing them, and suddenly I had the best bloom show I'd seen in 5 years. Turns out it wasn't overcrowding at all, they were just waiting for a fire that never came. Sixth, we have bulbine. This is a succulent perennial that produces spikes of small star-shaped flowers, usually in yellow or orange. It's supposed to bloom repeatedly throughout the growing season, but mine would give me one flush and then just sit there looking decorative but not flowering. After smoke water application, I got continuous blooming cycles for 4 months straight. The difference in total flower production was absolutely insane. And number 7, Berkheya. This thistle-like perennial produces large daisy flowers with spiny foliage. It's a statement plant, but it can be a reluctant bloomer in cultivation. My Berkheya plants would give me 3 or 4 flowers per season at best. After treatment, I counted over 20 flowers per plant, and they bloomed sequentially, so I had color for weeks instead of days. Now, let me tell you how I actually made and used this smoke water, because you cannot just go light a bonfire and spray the water on your plants. Well, I mean you could, but that's not really how this works. The compounds we're after are released when plant cellulose burns at specific temperatures. What I did was collect dry grass clippings, dried leaves, and small twigs. Then I burned them in a controlled manner in a metal container. As the smoke rose, I captured it by holding a damp burlap cloth above the smoke source, letting the smoke pass through it repeatedly. The cloth absorbs the smoke compounds. Then I soaked that cloth in a bucket of water for about 24 hours, stirring occasionally. The resulting water has this faint, smoky smell and a very light brown tint. I diluted this concentrate at a ratio of about 1 part smoke water to 10 parts regular water. Some research suggests even more dilute solutions work fine, but I found this ratio gave me consistent results. I applied the smoke water as a soil drench around the root zone of my perennials in early spring, just as they were breaking dormancy. I used about a gallon of diluted smoke water per medium-sized perennial clump. For the bulbous types like Watsonia, I applied it just before their normal growth period. The critical thing is timing. You want to apply this when the plant is naturally gearing up for its growth cycle, because what you're doing is basically sending a signal that conditions are optimal for reproduction. If you apply it when the plant is dormant or stressed, you're not going to get the same results. I also want to mention that there are commercially available smoke water products and smoke primer discs that you can buy, especially from suppliers that specialize in native plants from fire-prone regions. These products contain standardized concentrations of carrageenolide, which is the synthesized form of the active compound. I tested both my homemade smoke water and a commercial product, and honestly, both worked. The commercial stuff is more consistent and definitely easier, but there's something satisfying about making your own. Now, does this work on every perennial? Absolutely not. I tried it on some standard garden center perennials like coneflowers, daylilies, and hostas, and it did exactly nothing. Those plants didn't evolve in fire-adapted ecosystems, so they have no genetic programming to respond to smoke compounds. This is specifically effective on plants from Mediterranean climates, South African fynbos, Australian bushlands, and similar fire-prone ecosystems. The before and after documentation I kept on these 7 perennials was pretty meticulous because I wanted to make sure I wasn't just seeing what I wanted to see. I counted flower numbers, measured flower spike heights, tracked bloom duration, and compared everything to both previous year's data and to control plants I left untreated. Every single one of these 7 species showed statistically significant improvements in at least 2 of those metrics, and most showed improvements across all of them. The Nymphophea results were probably the most visually dramatic because those tall flower spikes are so architectural, but the bulbine was the most practically useful because continuous blooming in a drought-tolerant perennial is exactly what I need for my hot, dry front border. What's really fascinating is that this isn't just about more flowers. The smoke water seemed to improve overall plant vigor. The treated plants had better foliage color, seemed more resistant to stress, and the flowering stems were sturdier and less prone to flopping. It's like the smoke signal flipped a switch that said, "Optimal conditions detected, engage maximum performance mode." If you're growing any of these 7 perennials, or really any plants from fire-prone ecosystems, I cannot recommend trying this enough. The results were genuinely shocking, and it's one of those techniques that sounds too weird to work until you see it with your own eyes. Just make sure you're using it on the right plants, because dumping smoke water on your tomatoes is just going to waste your time.